I had a client in Maryland I worked with, and he worked hard, and he was billing maybe 3 or 4 hours a day, and he had no idea why. So I worked with him on my kind of productivity system. The first day we worked together after I coached him, he billed 10 hours. And he said, "This is the easiest day I ever had." And he just felt so successful, so productive. And, his day wasn't really longer. He just got a lot more done.
Welcome to our Happy Rainmakers video series where point one can make a difference. I'm joined today by Gary Miles, the free lawyer. Thanks for being with us today, Gary.
Thank you, Jen, for having me.
Now, you work with a lot of super successful lawyers who are still unhappy and feel trapped and stuck and overwhelmed. What are some ways that you help them with that?
Well, two of the major ways are really setting boundaries and planning their work and what they do with a purpose in mind. So in terms of setting boundaries, so often we sit down to do something and our legal assistant comes in to ask us a question that could wait. Or we get an email from that lawyer we can't stand and we answer it. Or our client calls us and we take the call immediately and we don't ever get done what we sat down to do. And I think it's very important that, our time is very special to us. We own our time. We can decide how we use it. I don't know how often your listeners have found that they felt like they were in a whirlwind all day. They worked so hard and they went home and they said, "I don't know what I got done today." And part of that is because they didn't plan their day. And part of it is setting boundaries with our clients. You turn off your notifications and you work hard for an hour and you'll be amazed how much you get done. And my working hours are from 8:30 to 5:30. I don't accept calls or cell phone calls after that unless it's an absolute emergency. And these are the circumstances with what we do for you would be considered an absolute emergency. And then you have that client doesn't have that expectation that you're always available, because how we interact with our clients sets their expectations. If every time they call, we drop everything I'm doing to take their call, they expect that when they call, we will answer. I don't know how much time I wasted by answering every darn email when it came through. It was like an obsession. And it was pointless because I could answer it in 3 hours and that would be just fine. But answer those 10 emails together at the same time, one after another. Return those 5 calls at the same time, one after another. If they're not there, you leave a message and you pick your next file to work on. And again, you go to a place of lack of interruption where you have real focused activity.
Let's say you haven't been used to working like that before. How can you create that expectation now? Is there a way to say, I've been looking at my work habits and I think I could do higher quality work for you faster if I took certain times of the day and I was very focused. So this is what I'm planning on now. Does that work?
Oh, absolutely. I had a client in Maryland I worked with, and he worked hard and he was billing maybe 3 or 4 hours a day, and he had no idea why. So I worked with him on my kind of productivity system, which is some of the things I touched on today. And the first day we worked together after I coached him, he billed 10 hours. And he said, "This was the easiest day. This is the easiest day I ever had." And he just felt so successful, so productive. And, his day wasn't really longer. He just got a lot more done, And, sometimes when we bill 0.3 hours, 15 minutes is 0.3 hours. That's 1.2 hours for an hour if we bill 15 minutes and put 0.3 down for it. And so sometimes if we are focused about what we're doing, we actually end up with a little more time billed than we might have actually worked, but that's okay in our system because we kind of round the tenths up, if you will.
Now, what happens if, I say, "Gosh, Gary, that sounds really good. I wish I could be more productive, but I'm getting a lot of pushback from my team or my supervisors or clients who say, well, I'll go to another firm where they take my call every time."
Well, that's because we didn't set boundaries with that client in the beginning. Honestly, what well-meaning client, if I say to you in the beginning, "Jen, I'm honored to represent you, and this is how I work it. If you call me I'll call you back in 24 hours. But you hired me because you think I'm a pretty good lawyer. I think I am too. I think I can help you, but I represent a number of other clients and I'm often on the phone with them. So when you call, I'll call you right back. But I won't always be able to take your call when you call. No one ever minds that. And I don't think a firm will ever mind someone saying, I'm going to really focus on being more productive, more efficient, and getting more done and making more money from the firm that way.
That sounds about right. I'm sure if you frame it correctly, your firm might be a little bit more receptive. Well, thank you so much. This was great advice. And anybody who wants to get in touch with Gary or wants to get a copy of his book should look at the information that's posted below the video. This was really good information, and I hope it's going to be helpful to a lot of people.
Thank you, Jen. I appreciate you. I appreciate what you're doing to try and help lift and support the legal community.
And you as well. So hopefully the two of us will make some inroads because there are a lot of very unhappy lawyers who I think can be helped. So between the two of us, maybe a few more.
Thank you, Jen.
Thank you.